Hey, all right. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Jane,
Good
how are you?
morning. Good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. So good to see everybody again. Let's see who we got so far. Let's see. I saw Deb Rocky. She says hi. Hey, Deb, how are you? Natalie, good to see you. And if anyone else is here, please let us know in the comments that you're here. If you are new, go ahead and just plop that in there. Say new, never been here before, and we'll pop you up there and welcome you to the show. So it's good to see everybody. We've been enjoying doing this. We kind of get all this together and have some fun with it. Today, obviously, we're week before Christmas. What do you think, Jane? You ready for Christmas?
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Yeah, I am. I really am this year. In past years, I haven't done as well, but I think we all have a little extra time for a little extra effort this year.
Yep,
Good morning,
I
Denver.
agree. Oh, there's my dad. Hey, Dad. Good morning, sir. So, yeah, it's I don't know what have you had a good week so far, Jane? Has it been a good one?
Yeah, it's been busy.
Yeah, it has. I was going to mention this. I picked up a book and I started reading it. I read it once before. It's been a while since I've read it, but it's pretty good. It's well done. If anybody's read this book, leave it in the comments there. But really kind of been enjoying this. And it talks about being how we tend to focus more on the negative when someone does something wrong. We kind of tend to address the negative of people. And when they make mistakes, we only go there where you should be doing kind of what they do down in SeaWorld where they train whales. They emphasize the positive and not the negative. So it's pretty cool. But anyway, if you haven't read this book, I encourage you to read so. The Power of Positive Relationships. So it's been pretty good. Have you read that one, Jane?
No, I have not. You do a book club too, don't you, with the agents?
I do. Yep. And we actually just wrapped up the one right here behind me, QBQ, question behind the question. So it's about basically personal responsibility. Another good one.
Yeah, it seemed like everyone was enjoying that one.
Yep, they were.
Morning,
Good morning,
Nikki.
Nikki. Good to see you. Guys, we're pretty excited about this show. So, just kind of give you a quick rundown before we actually get the show started. We're going to begin with talking about Brian Buffini's bold 2021 predictions. So, that'll be a cool little deep dive into kind of what he's predicting for 2021 to be like. And then we've got a special guest with us, Donna Gregorich. She is one of our brokers and coaches in our London office, as well as a partner with Century 21. She's going to come in. We're going to be doing a quick little interview with her. And then we're going to transition into doing some agent goal setting. Even if you're not an agent, some of the stuff we'll be going over will help you in your business in general. So feel free to participate in that. Leave comments. If there's certain things you guys do that is kind of neat to goal setting, drop those in the comments and let us know, kind of some tricks of your trade that you have as well. And then at the end of the show, please stay. We're going to wrap up with just doing a quick little Christmas Would You Rather with everybody. And Donna will be coming back into the show to participate with that, just to have a little bit of fun before we wrap up and go into the holidays. So in the meantime, how about we go ahead and start this show? Jane, do you have anything else you want to add before we get started?
Nope, let's get started.
All right, it works. Oh, Brad, I'll mention this. Brad Wilson just said something, and this is good. Attitude is everything. Brad, amen, brother. It really is. Attitude is everything. Thanks, man. Good to see you, man. Thanks for watching. All right, well, let's go ahead and kick this show off. All right. Well, welcome to another episode of the Advantage Live Show. I'm Adam Gullett. I'm your co-host, and I'm joined with my co-host,
Jane Polivchek.
Hey, Jane. Good to see you, and welcome to the show. Thank you all for coming here and participating again. This is the third episode we've had. It's going to be a good one. We're going to be going over Brian Buffini's bold predictions for 2021. We're going to do a quick little interview with Donna Gregorich, which is our coach, broker, and also a partner with Century 21. We're going to be going into how she operates and what she does on a daily basis and just kind of find out more about Donna. It'll be a great little deep dive into her life and how she serves her agents as well as her consumers. So, and then we're going to be going into a few goal setting routines and kind of good practices to set some goals going into 2021. And then we're going to do a Christmas Would You Rather. So right now we're going to start with doing a little bit of the real estate news about Brian Buffini. So let's get to that. All right, Jane. So here we go. We've got the real estate news from the past week. We're going to talk about Brian Buffini's bold 2021 predictions. So I'll start this off with just kind of reading a few little statements that he kind of said. And also, just so you guys know, in the show notes, we will have a link to watch the entire video of Brian Buffini. And it's really important to kind of check this out every year. He does it every single year. And so far, he's been really good at predicting a few things that happen in the market. So let's just get into this, Jane, if you're ready, and let's dissect it just a little bit, and we'll give a little bit of our opinion.
Ready.
If you have something you want to say, go ahead and drop it in the comments as well as we go through this. We want participation and we want to have some fun. So here it is. So he said, this has been a strange year, but there has been a lot of good things in this year too, said Brian Buffini, founder and chairman of Buffini & Company, at this year's Bold Predictions 2021 Real Estate Market Outlook, which was held as a virtual webcast on December 8th. He was also joined by Lawrence Yun, which is a chief economic advisor with the National Association of Realtors. We mention him a lot kind of on this show as well as a company. We talk about kind of what he's been going through, especially this year. We've been really kind of diving in and learning more about what he's doing. So I listened to this last year. And I will say he predicted a lot of the things that happened in this market. Now, he did not predict a pandemic. That was not predicted. But what he did predict is a big...
No one saw that coming.
Yeah, no one saw that coming. I don't think you could predict that at all.
No.
So it's unfortunate, but on the real estate side of things, he did predict pretty well. I mean, he got a lot of things right. He was talking about how it's going to be a shortage of real estate for sale and what that was going to look like, and then what would happen to the cost of building homes, that they would increase. So he did start talking about how that's going to happen. He kind of predicted to be a little bit earlier in the year than towards the end, so that was a factor, but he overwhelmingly kind of got it right.
Yeah,
you got anything to add to that, Jane?
I was just going to say, I know I've looked at his predictions over the years, and he really is, in the forefront of the people that everyone turns to kind of, hear what he has to say. And he is a lot of times spot on. Yeah,
he has been. It's pretty cool to watch him. And he does it every year. He releases a video, and then he actually releases a bunch of content in a PDF form and breaks all this kind of stuff down. Again, we'll leave that in the show notes of this. So one of the things that did come up was that home sales would increase. He did predict that home sales would increase. And then more in particular, Yun said this. He said the housing market has shown remarkable resiliency in 2020, and 2020 is certainly a year of surprise on many fronts. So, I mean, he was very confident that the virus shutdown that we went through this year, when we actually shut down everything, he didn't say it was really going to be that big of a recession. He didn't think it was going to be like a recession. He really more or less perceived it as a temporary hold, a reset. And then over a little bit of time, it began to rebound back and get right back to it. So that's kind of what he went with that.
Adam,
Jane,
I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't know
fine.
if you can hear me, but I lost sound for you.
Oh, did you? Yep, I can hear you. No audio. That's all right. That's a part of being live, right?
Somebody comment in the chat and make sure that everyone else is still hearing both of us. Okay,
yeah, just let us know in the comments there if you can hear both of us. Jane still can't hear us. Jane, you might just want to log out and come back in. That's perfectly fine. You can try doing that. So I'll continue on. If we can get Jane back in here, good old technical issues, nothing like that. So it's normal. Nikki did say she can hear us both, so that's good. Thank you, Nikki. So, for the most part, I would agree with that last statement. If you were in this real estate industry back in 2008 and 2009, that time was a little bit more rough. But we had a lot of like subprime lending going on, a lot of less restrictions on loans and things like that. So, really, Yun really did predict that it wasn't going to be exactly the same. He kind of felt like it was more or less a temporary hold, and then once that market opened back up, we would get busy again, and that's held true. I think that's absolutely true. I think most agents would agree with that. So. He went on to say at the beginning of this, at the very beginning of the interview that Brian Buffini had with Lawrence Yun, he said this. He said that he could see homes increase another 5 to 10% in 2021, and with the Fed saying they want to keep the interest rate where it is for another 3 years or so. So, and I think that's what's happening. Matter of fact, we saw just a reduction in the interest rate too. It went down to 2.67 this week. So we saw another reduction in the interest rate. So that's going to spur more activity. So that's good. So Young went on to say this: because of work from home flexibility, people are suddenly realizing they are not content and are looking for a larger home with possibly an office space, said Young. Agents should contact their prior clients as they may be willing to hear what you have to say, even if they were not considering buying or selling before the pandemic. So I'll add, I think this is a very good point because in all honesty, my advice to the agents in 2020 would be this, is to contact your database, your past sphere of influence, because the home that they're in now might not be working for them anymore. And I would begin asking them that question. Hey, is this home that I sold you, 2 years ago, is this still working for what you need right now? So I would definitely check and see if that's the case. So that's a good point to kind of get back into that. He went on to say that there are 3 things that will affect the market. Now, this is what Brian Buffini kind of went on to say. So he said that one would be decentralization. People are moving into the suburbs and beyond. One of the greatest indicators is what renters are doing. So I think that's absolutely true. They're looking for more space. So again, I think this is going to be a referral-based business as well. Going back to the people that you see what is that you sold the home to, and getting back in front of them and trying to generate contacts and all of that, I think that would be a very good thing to do. And then work on a referral-based business. Try to reach out and build some relationships across the aisle with agents 1 to 2 hours away from where you live, and see if they're wanting to move into your area. So that's beginning to happen. The change of face. The number 2 that he said was the changing face of relocation. So remote workers are on the move. Between 14 and 23 million plan to relocate due to working remote. So a lot of moving, a lot of shifting going on. So again, this emphasizes the referral-based business. So we definitely need to see and address the referral-based business. Upsizing. So this is another one. This is number 3. This is the number 3 point that he made. Upsizing. People want high-speed internet. Kids need classrooms, more rooms, etc. We're going to have even more competition in the move-up market. So, again, referral-based business. I really think, back a few days ago or a few months ago, we were talking about tiny homes and minimization and all these type of things. Well, that's so much not the trend that we're beginning to see. We're starting to see people buy a bigger type home that accommodates more avenues of their life because they're working from home. They're teaching their kids from home. Now, how long will that last? I don't know, but a lot of companies are okay with letting their employees stay at home and work. So we'll see how that works. I think it's going to be pretty fascinating to see how this all pans out over 2021. So again, you can check out these notes inside of the show notes when we'll post those, when we post this video as a separate video, and we'll give a link back to Brian Buffini's as well. So it looks like Jane's coming back in. Jane, let's try to add you to the stream here.
Hello, sorry, I was experiencing technical
Are you
difficulties.
there?
Yep, can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay, yes, I can. I'm sorry. Just all of a sudden lost all sound.
No worries at all. That's good timing. We just wrapped up the real estate news, so you came right in at the perfect time. We're going to jump into the interview with our guest, Donna Gregorich. All right. So like we said, our special guest for today is going to be Donna Gregorich. She is she's a broker associate down in our London office. She's also our coach down there. And she's also a partner with Century 21. And I'm excited to have this interview with her. She is a very knowledgeable person. She's very personable, very relatable. She connects with people very well. I'm excited to have her part of the show. And let's go ahead and add Donna to the show. Donna, welcome. Hello, Donna.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am well. I'm well. You're taking me out of my comfort zone, but it's good. I'm
That's
growing.
right. Yep. I totally understand. The comfort zone always has to be stretched to some degree, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
And I would say 2021 has probably done that or 2020 has done that to a lot of us this year. A lot of adjusting and trying to get used to some technology and stuff for sure. So, well, welcome to the Advantage Live show. Thank you for coming on. Real quick, Donna, just give us a little synopsis of how you kind of got into real estate and what led you into where you are now. So just kind of summarize that for us.
How I got into real estate. We moved back to Kentucky in 2000, and my father had a construction company. We built several commercial properties. Some of them were rentals, everything like that. And I managed those, ran those. Did that for about 4 years and found out that I was working 18 to 20 hours a day some days.
Wow.
So I decided to list and sell those properties. And I interviewed several realtors, and I selected one, and we were doing showings on all of our properties all over the place. And I wasn't getting the feedback of why they didn't buy it, what was wrong, what can I do? So I asked the question, what do I have to do to get my real estate license? And I got that answer. Took the test, listed all my own commercial properties, and sold them. And because we had several commercials listed all at one time, not only did I start with selling all my own properties, but I started with a huge database of individuals looking to buy commercial properties because I had been showing them mine. So that's a little bit how I got in. It was not planned by any means. Maybe God's plan. It wasn't mine, but it happened.
Yeah. Seems to be the case sometimes, right?
Right.
Well, we're sure glad you did.
Amen to that.
Whoever's plan, it was a good one.
I agree. So Donna, just let's go ahead and start this interview. Let's talk a little bit real quick. So just give us a synopsis of this. If you could be guaranteed one thing in life besides money, what would it be?
You know, even if you put money or wealth back in that choice, I would still choose health. I would. Yeah. Many of you know that my father, who worked 18 hours a day all of his life, 5 years ago, had 3 major strokes. And I've watched him over the last 5 years get so frustrated as he's trying to regain normalcy. You know, so if I could be guaranteed anything at all, it would be health, that I wouldn't
That's good.
Have to go through what he goes through on a daily basis. Yeah.
Wow. I would agree with that. Yeah, I think health. And you're an avid runner, and I think that's one of the things you kind of continue to do, and that's one of those best steps you can take. I think running is one of those things I encourage people to do if you're not, just because it's something you can do the rest of your life.
Well, Adam, you and your whole family are runners as well, aren't they?
Yeah, we do. It's something, I feel like it's something they can take the rest of their life. I think health is just so important. I mean, you know, I don't think the argument's about extending life. I think maybe it will, but it does definitely increase the quality of life.
That's correct.
So, yeah.
So Donna, what's the one thing you wish you had known before you started your career?
Oh, if I could choose one thing that I wish someone would have enforced, it would have been staying in contact with every single client. If I look back over 15 years now, and I still have friends that were previous clients from the 15 years ago. But if we look at how many personal transactions we do every single year, I should have stayed in contact with every single one of them. I've seen so many times previous clients that said I did a great job representing them. And then I see that they've got their property listed with another agent. That's not that client's fault. That's not that other agent's fault. That falls back on me. I should have taken the time just to ensure that they still knew that I'm still growing in real estate. I'm still doing real estate. There's no need to start a new relationship with anyone else. So now with all the tools that Century 21 has, it's easier to do, but it's kind of hard to go back 15 years ago and reintroduce yourself to someone. Yeah. It's very humbling to say, you know what, I didn't know what I was doing back then, so here I am now. So so I think that's the number one thing that every new agent has to know. That every touch you do, you have to stay in contact with that touch.
Yeah, that's really good.
I think a lot of agents struggle with that, and then after it's gone a period of time, they're almost embarrassed to start that relationship again.
It's true.
That's a really good point. I think
it is definitely about relationships.
Yeah. At the time when you're doing the transaction, you're so used to talking to them, so frequently, and there's so many things to cover. And then when it's over, that client's going to be busy for a little while. But if you don't have your systems in place, you kind of, more time goes by and you kind of lose track of them.
And then we live in a society where we're so distracted. I mean, it's like we're bombarded by all this new stuff, and it takes us away from actually building those quality relationships. And if we can just get in our mind that, this job is in its simplest form is about people. And if that is what it is, then every day when you wake up and you set out your agenda, what you're going to do is connecting with people and staying in front of people that you've worked with in the past, no matter who they are, what they are, whatever, and just getting in front of them daily is what it's about. It's not a complicated industry. It changes a lot. It's an industry that changes a lot. But as far as the way we work and the way we operate, it doesn't change much. It's about people.
Yeah. And that preferred client club is really great. It's kind of a set it and forget it kind of thing. So it's going to help you build that relationship, without additional effort and you remembering to do those things. I know I've talked to agents who, as soon as they get a client that they're working with, they will friend them on Facebook. And they have said that that's a really easy way to kind of be reminded of that person. When that person posts something, they can comment on, what they're doing with their house or their different things. So, but the preferred client club has some really professional things that it sends out to people that are just really, really good looking and good quality.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great product that Central 21 has for staying in point in contact with your past clients. It's good. So, Donna, are there any resources that have really helped you on your journey? Like, what would you say are some of the things that really just helped you kind of get to where you are now?
Oh, gosh. So with this past year, you've got to use technology. We were all forced into it. And, that we did a top agent retreat. I don't know how many years ago it was, but it was before we were all on video, before we were all doing this. And one of the motivational speakers had said, we're going to take 5 minutes, you're going to do a video and you're going to send it to someone, send it to a client, And I said, oh, no, I don't look good on camera. And he looked at me, you look exactly how you look right now on camera. Get over it. Get over yourself. So even back then, Century 21 was already pushing us and giving us the tools we needed to thrive in a market that we didn't even know was coming.
That's good.
This past year, because all of it happened all at once. It's been so forgiving. People knew that we weren't comfortable doing this. And they didn't expect perfection. They just allowed you to be you, stumble over words, or have somebody walk behind you or a dog start bark. They allowed all that. So, I've got to grab technology. And then, just keeping myself centered and keeping it simple. There are so many tools that are out there that you can spend all of your time utilizing tools and not putting into action anything that you're doing.
That's good.
Without action, there's no movement forward. So yeah, resources. I honestly can say, I personally believe that Century 21 has the best resources out there to be used. Not all of them will work for maybe you, but give one a try, evaluate it after a 3-month period, and adapt it. Don't get overwhelmed with all the resources. There's so many.
And that's a good point. One of the things that I always talk about is technology in a way addresses the employee system, right? It's typically technology is trying to address what an employee would normally do. So the question, you have to look at your business and say, do I need that employee right now, or do I need to know that I might need that employee? And then if you do, then you implement that technology to address that issue.
Right.
Not saying you don't want employees, but as far as streamlining your business, that's where technology comes in. To know what's available, to know what it can do, that way when the time comes and you need it, you're ready to start implementing it in. And so I think to your point about Century 21, I think that's what they're constantly trying to do. They're trying to come up with the tools to address all these little issues in our business. And that way we have this toolkit that we can tap into and pull in when we need to. And to that, I can't say enough how thankful I am for that.
Yeah. I think they're really good. I think they're really doing a good job of, kind of predicting what it is that we think you might need. What resources, what can we do to save you time? What can we do to, help you grow that business and giving you the tools. So Donna, you told us a little bit about, how you came to be in real estate. Can you talk a little bit about why you chose Century 21?
Okay, so you do know that I started in 2005. Did 2 years with a local broker there in Corbin, and went on to get my broker's license. And then I opened my own real estate company. So at the time, and again, real estate companies are always, commenting, let me sit down with you, let me go over, what we can offer and everything. When that happens, that's just a compliment to you that they want you with them. So when the proposal first came, I wasn't looking to change, to go anywhere else. I was content with my real estate company. But I also know you have to have an open mind as well. Be open to listen to all the different opportunities out there. That doesn't mean, to jump on every single one. I had the opportunity to work with Steve Robinson, the principal broker, several years in leadership with running our local board. And, things get heated in a board of directors meeting. And I always seen him, be calm and look at both sides of the issues before making a decision. And I always respected that. So when I did sit down and looked at everything that was being offered, even before we had our current career path partnership programs, which are amazing, but even back then, education reimbursement, non-competing broker, top agent retreats, office administrator, phone time without extra charges, all of those things. I made the decision within a 24-hour period after that interview to close my company and transfer my license 10 years ago over to Century 21.
Wow, that's awesome. I agree with a lot of that. Yeah, well, I do agree. I have a lot of those same sentiments. That's been kind of my experience too, seeing just the nature of the company, the character of the people involved,
That's right.
the way it's structured. leading by serving. I mean, I think that's our value proposition before, but it was already, even though it became our statement,
Sure.
that's been in operation before we ever even said it. It's really what this is about. So, Deb Rocky, thank you, Deb. Yeah, Steve is so careful with his words. He always thinks about his words before he speaks them. I like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I do.
Slow to speak, quick to listen. It's good.
Yeah.
So, Donna, as realtors, we serve a lot of people. So I'm kind of curious on tell us of a time when a client just touched your heart and where it completely made you fall in love with being an agent. That moment where you just said, "Yeah, I love my job and I want to stick to doing this."
Wow. We get that, think about what we're doing. We get that opportunity and on a daily basis where they touch us. Some ways that they touch our lives is that we realize I'll never act like that. So literally gives us something. So
That's awesome.
There are so many because we're actually giving them keys to their home, where they're raising their children, or they're downsizing, or there's been a death or a divorce. All of those things just pull at your heart. 10 years ago, when I first came to Century 21, there was a young man, I don't know, he's probably 22, 23, just had everything together. Being that young, had everything together. He was buying his first home, huge down payment. We looked at 60 homes,
Oh, wow.
It was very, very costly. We did find one. And there's not a week that goes by that I don't have a phone conversation with that young man still today.
Yeah.
And that conversation has ended with, "I love you and I love you too." That's not a family member. That's a client that became family, so
That's good.
but there's many of those stories.
That's good.
Yeah, it's very emotional. Our clients, this is the biggest purchase that they
That's
are making in their entire lives. And it really is an honor to be there and try to, help them through that and to, go through that process with them. It's, it's very moving.
Yeah, it is.
Donna, what advice would you give someone that's thinking about getting their real estate license?
So the knee-jerk reaction is, if you're thinking, stop thinking and do it. And what can I say or do to help you get it done, right?
Yeah.
There you go. I love it.
Yes.
Donna's a doer.
That's right.
Go get her.
Quit thinking. Go do.
That was great. Let's do that now.
Again, keeping it simple, and then also being realistic as well. A lot of people have fallen in love with HGTV, right? You show
Yes.
3 homes, you write a contract, and then 20 seconds later, you go to closing, right? That is not our job. That is not our job at all.
And
Not at all.
Your house sold for 3 times what you paid for it, and everyone's happy.
Yes. And both of them are stay-at-home parents. Yeah. So
That's a good point too.
But no, you have to be realistic about what we're doing. We got buyers on one side that want to buy it as cheap as they can get it. We got sellers that want the most they can get out of it. There are so many steps in between that east versus west version. And they have to realize that we're just not opening a door and going to a closing to take a check to the bank.
That's good.
There are so many steps in there, and not overthinking it. Keep it simple, but you have to be diligent as well in all of those steps, because we work on a timeline for every single one of those factors in between. Opening the door and going to the closing. Real estate, it requires discipline. It requires discipline if you're in it for the long run, so
That's good.
yeah, I would tell them, be prepared, be prepared. It's not what you think it is. It's almost a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
And it is. It's good.
To your point of, that it's not just opening the door and then going to closing. I think one way we can combat that with our people is to educate them a little bit. Where some of us are so seamless in what we do that people don't see that. You know what I mean? They don't understand. They don't understand. But now they do. If there's an issue, then they look to you to fix that and things like that. But yeah, I think a lot of people have that misconception or just don't understand what all the process is.
Yeah, that's good advice. It's great. So, Donna, we're coming to the end of 2020, right? So this is the time of year that we start talking with our agents about goal setting, kind of what's going to go forward and all that. So real quick, what do you see 2021 being like for the real estate industry and the agents? And what do you think they should actually be focusing on going into the new year? What's some advice you have for them?
Okay, so honestly, 2020 has brought, no one expected this. So we're all looking to 2021. Even all the social media is like, is it 2021 yet?
Every meme.
Out of this. So, but you know what? All of this, all the consequences of everything that has happened this year, I think we'll still be facing some of those. Do I think our real estate market is going to change drastically in 2021? I don't. We still have, Adam, you had brought up the relocation. It is, people are wanting out of the major cities into the rural areas, and that's currently where we're working,
Yeah.
So even though some places may experience real estate downtime, I don't foresee that for us in 2021 at all. And then advice for agents is, going back to, we all like to label ourselves, I'm a buyer's agent, I'm a listing agent, classifying just who we prefer to be in the many roles of a realtor. We all have to become listing agents. That's it. The shortage of inventory is everywhere. So, if that's not your specialty, then we need to work on that being your specialty, because that's where it is right now, is the inventory. And it's as simple as asking the question, who do you know that's wanting to buy or sell?
Yes.
It's not forcing yourself on anyone by any means at all. It's asking the question. That should be as common coming out of your mouth as thank you is.
Yes, that's good. That's right. You're absolutely right. Yep,
So
that's good.
Donna, as one of the coaches, you're, interacting with the agents daily, and a lot of those agents can be newer agents. Do you have any advice directly for newer agents that are kind of trying to get going or get started?
Okay, so for the new agents, and you know what? This is agents as a whole, not to compare yourself to others and their success. When we see success or a goal accomplishment of any other agent, we actually need to be grateful, that they've received that, and we need to go out of our way and congratulate them, because some people think, oh, you were just in the right place at the right time, you got lucky. Some things do happen because of those two situations, but the majority of it is making your plan and working your plan, just pushing through, persevering. Anytime somebody else has a success, we need to look at that and say, they have set out a plan and they've worked that plan. That just proves to me and to everyone out there that it can be done. So I would say, you know, actually embrace the success of others around you and know that it can be done. You know, stop struggling. Don't get lost in all of that. The only person you compete against is yourself. Everybody says that we all compete against one another. You know, I don't compete with anyone but me. I grab people and take them with me.
Oh, that's good. I love that. Grabbing people and taking them with you. That's good.
Yeah.
I really feel that's one of the best things about our offices. You know, our agents are so helpful, and our coaches and everyone, that you don't feel shy to ask a question. I don't think. I think, you know, the agents that we have are like, sure, let me help you. Here, come with me. Let's go do this. You know, it's a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep, totally agree. Well, we got one more question for you, Donna, here. And this is kind of, I call it our signature question because I think it's just a good one. What is the one decision that put you on the course to where you are now?
You know, I'm going to say it is controlling my thoughts. Those that know me know that I walk around with affirmations all the time. Again, technology has all the little apps. So, you know, if I'm in the copier room and you hear some guy from Britain talking to me saying, "You are a problem solver. You are a problem solver." So, you know, I control what's going on up here. It's either positive or it's negative, you know? So life happens. An hour and a half before I have a cap on my front tooth because of an accident 15 years ago. An hour and a half before we go live, my cap completely fell off. So
my goodness.
I could have said, you know what? My day's shot. You know, I'm putting the pajamas to bed. You know, we don't do that. Everybody, we're all human. We all have life that is happening, and we have to remember that when we come people. You know, we don't know what has happened to them, but as agents, we are literally in the path of so many people that we have the opportunity to inspire them. That means there can't be negative here. It's got to be positive. And if you can't do it yourself, download the free apps, because they tell me all day how great I am.
I love
What are those apps, Donna? I would love for
you to
those
apps.
Share those apps. Yeah.
You know what? Several of the agents have them, but I do the mantra is the one for my business life. And then I do affirmations for my personal life. And then I do abide first thing before I even get out of bed in the morning. And it's the very last thing at night. Because, you know, when things go wrong in a real estate transaction, a lot of times you are the only person on the scene. So you get all of the backlash. Again,
so true.
It's not directed to you. You're just the receiving person, you know?
Yeah, that's good.
We have to keep that in mind. But we also have to know that all of that was just thrown on us and it's in our head. We got to get it out. So I always end on a positive note.
There's a positive note for you right there. Steve Robinson. Donna Gregorich is solid gold, a treasure.
You,
That's awesome. Brad Wilson says, our freedom expressed in how we respond to our challenges. Good advice, Donna.
That's great.
Yeah.
Donna.
It's difficult not to panic sometimes when those things happen. But yeah, I think that's great advice.
It really is. Donna, you've given us a lot of good stuff. Oh, say that again. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, just to realize that it's not you, that there, with proper planning and discipline, it shouldn't be you that's being yelled at. The situation, sometimes you are the only person standing in the gap, and you receive that. Just don't take it with you. Realize that's what's going on. Evaluate the situation, and, you know, propose solutions. That makes us who we are.
That's good. Well, Donna, thank you so much for joining us here and then just sharing kind of a little bit of your story and advice and all the treasures that you kind of gave us. You gave us a lot. It's good. I really do appreciate you very, very much.
Thank you.
It's been great to have you. We miss seeing you.
That's right.
This.
Oh my
We
God.
don't get as much of an
know.
opportunity.
I know.
All right, Donna.
We'll establish a new normal somewhere. We'll get it back together.
That's true. New normal.
Mm-hmm.
Stacey says, great job, Donna.
Oh, I love you, Stacy.
All right, Donna, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
We'll talk to you later. Donna, genuine. That's the word. I mean, just genuine, full, good heart, cares about people.
Yeah, she's an awesome role model. I was thinking about this last night, and truly, if I could pick someone to be more like, it would be her.
Yes.
She has balance. She has so many great qualities.
Yep.
Yeah.
She really does. And she comes in dressed to the nines every day.
Yeah, every day.
That woman is dressed to the nines and ready to work and serve. It is awesome.
She makes you want to step up your game, doesn't she?
She does.
She really
She does. She challenges
and
you.
you talk to
in
her
a good
and
way.
she's like, I'm eating healthy and I'm exercising and I'm going away from that thinking, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change.
Oh, it's so good. So good. So, all right. Well, we're gonna go through transition into the next segment, and this is going to be the real estate agent goal setting for 2021. So here we go. All right, so real estate agents goal setting for 2021. So this would be fun, guys. Everybody knows that I like numbers and I like planning, I like goal setting and all that. So we're gonna go into just some numbers. Jane, feel free to jump in, and we're just gonna discuss this. We won't take much time. We're just gonna go through this a little bit, kind of give everybody a few points to ponder and things going into the new year, things to consider. So let's get started. One of the first things I do is I begin with the time blocking. And it says right here, you have to set time aside to work on your goals every day. I mean, I think that's absolutely key. How do you know what to do every day to reach your goal if you don't set the time aside to actually work on those particular items, right? Oh, can't hear you, Jane. Jane is muted. Try again. No, let's see here. Try talking now, Jane. No sound. Gotta love technology. I tell you, it's always fun. So, Jane, feel free to log out, log back in. That might fix it. I don't know. Something's going on with that audio over there. If you guys can still hear me, let me know in the comments. Here's some advice for you guys going into this. For the next week, record everything you do in a day. Write it all down. Write everything you do. After a week, look at those items and eliminate the ones you can. All the other activities need a set time of day to do them. This will become the framework for your ideal week. This is off of Michael Hyatt's Full Focus Planner. He talks about doing this. It gives you a good bird's eye view about what's going on with your time. So be sure to check that out and see what you're kind of spending your time doing. So thank you, Stacy, for letting me know you can hear me. Next, you're going to know that you have a better understanding. Now that you have a better understanding of how your time it's time to set up SMART goals. So that will be the next step. So, and I'm sure most of you guys have heard about SMART goals before, but let's elaborate just a little bit on those. Oh, looks like Jane's back. Jane, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Perfect. So we're just going to be discussing SMART goals now: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jane?
I think it's really important. I think specific is key. We had talked about this in one of the training classes. The broader your goals are, the more difficult it is to determine if you've met them. If they're not specific, it's hard to see if you've reached those goals. And, we were talking a little bit about them being measurable. How do you, if they're not specific, you can't measure how close you are to reaching that goal. So I do think it's really important. And I wanted to comment too, sorry about the technical difficulties, but
No worries.
I wanted to comment on, setting time aside for that. And, I know in past years, I've talked to agents who've set goals and things and, they've set this time apart to do that. But, it's more important that once you set those goals, that you have a plan to reach those goals. It's more of a multi-part thing.
That's right. It is. And then before you can even get to the goal setting, you got to have some parts of your life in order. You've got to have that time set aside. It's crucial.
And I think it's important too that your goals cover more than just your professional life. You need a balance. I think it's easy to set your goals and be so single-minded that you reach these business goals that maybe you're losing that balance.
That's good. That's true. Yep. It's not just about business, right? You got to make sure you
No.
have goals for every aspect of your life, like things you want to do and time allotted for those things. Otherwise, you
Yeah,
get burnt out.
Yeah, and with the time blocking, I mean, as a busy agent, you actually have to schedule time for your family. You have to schedule time for yourself. You have to schedule time for, all kinds of things. So if you don't have that time blocking in there, some things are going to get left behind.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Those are definitely things to consider. So there's your SMART goals. That's exactly what you want to do right there. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. You want to have a time on them. And we kind of went over this. Set goals for multiple aspects of your life, not just for business. Goals that are not written down are just wishes. I don't know who said that, but an American author did. So we kind of talked about that. Family goals, vacation goals, purchase goals, financial goals, business goals, etc. Look at your life. Look and see what you want. What is it that you want to accomplish? And then go back and set those SMART goals, right? Specifically, how am I going to get there? Measuring the distance that the steps it's going to take to arrive there. Like, how can I measure this as I progress to reach that goal? What are the steps I need to do to attain that goal? How is it relevant to where I want to be? And at what time in this year of my life am I going to reach it, right?
Yeah.
This is a good one. Write these goals down and post them in a place you visit often. We were talking about this in a training this week with our agents, right, Jane?
Yeah. We were saying there's no single way to do this. There are lots of tools. Century 21 has some tools for doing this. We've given our agents different tools. The best system for setting your goals is the system that's going to work for you, the one that you're going to follow through with, or that, is the most convenient for you to do so that you'll stick with it.
That's right. I mean, and again, I like the idea when we were discussing that in the training, it was all about keeping it in a place where you see it all of the time. That way, it's just constantly reminding you about what you're wanting to accomplish and what your goals are. Otherwise, it's easy to get sidetracked on this in this busy life that we find ourselves in. So,
yeah,
very
and
good
I
to
think
do that.
it's helpful to have it in multiple places. And, back to what Donna was saying, with the affirmations and things, if they say, if you, put little reminders on your mirror or in your car or things like that, that those things will actually help you to stay motivated and, keep you driven towards that goal.
Yep, that's right. You have to know what you want before you can figure out how to get it, and that starts with goals. So far, we kind of went over, begin with time blocking, set SMART goals, post your goals in a highly visible location. I think those 3 steps right there is crucial to begin to implement and reach those goals. That's where it starts, and that's how you're going to get there, right? So now in the real estate industry, there's certain key metrics when you go to set goals that you kind of want to know these numbers. You want to know what you need to track to be able to reach the goals you're going to set, because most of the goals you typically set are going to be financial type goals. And that's obviously coming from your real estate business. So let's go quickly through a few of the numbers you want to track before we wrap up the show. So first you want to get into the numbers, and then you want to figure out how much do you need to fuel your life and accomplish your goals for the year. So you definitely need to look at your bills, look at everything you have coming in and going. What is the estimated total of that? How much savings do you want to have in a year? Funds needed for goals. So the goals that you set previously, 1, 2, 3, etc. How much money is that going to take? You want to add those all up. Then the subtotal financial goal this year is those three added up. That's the total that you need to bring in your business to reach those goals, those financial goals, right? So your additional real estate expenses this year. So that's the next category. You need to know kind of what your expenses are. So how much, now I know how much money I need to earn, how much are my expenses going to be, deduct that from that, and your total business financial goal is going to be 4 plus 5, right? You're going to add the subtotal of financial goal, subtract your additional real estate expenses, and you're going to end up with your total. And that's the number that you've got to add up. You've got to have that income to reach those goals. So addressing the financial issue of your business is crucial.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about how they can do that.
Yep.
You can't really predict, what types of things might happen, what expenses you might have in all cases, but some of them you can, like you were saying, what your board dues are going to be, what your, estimates for insurance and different things are going to be. But, always make sure you kind of look at your marketing, look at what you plan to do in the upcoming year and determine what that will cost you so that you have the funds to do that when you're available to do that.
Yeah, that's good. Yep. I know people don't like to track numbers, and I get it. It's very boring to do that.
You love it.
I do love it. I like getting in there and dissecting and figuring it all out. I do. But I do understand that is boring to a lot of people. But even at the base, just the base understanding a few numbers can help you in your business. You don't have to go deep dive and figure out every single transaction, as down to the penny. But you do want to kind of get a good overall view of that. These are the type of things that the numbers that personally I feel like you need to really kind of know in the real estate industry in particular. These are the numbers that will help you kind of get a good idea about how you're operating your business, right? So the first one being the business financial goal from the previous year. So what was your income there? What was the goal that you had there? What is that number? What does that look like? You need to know the average sales price. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say on that one, if you're a brand new agent, you might not have that information. So, don't let that stop you from this process. We can help you through with that. And if you don't have these numbers from the past, we can help you generate them for next year.
Good advice. Good point, Jane. So, and there's also some national averages we can go on and state averages too. So if you don't have these numbers, that's a great point, is we can find some numbers just to plug in to help you guys get some numbers and calculations together. So thanks, Jane. The average sales price in your market, you definitely want to know what that is, because that's going to tell you the average type of home that you're going to be selling, right? So 120,000 is 150,000. What is that number? Because that's going to tell you how many of those you need to sell. Then you need to figure out the average commission percentage per side that you're going to get. Then the average commission income per transaction. So you got the total that you're getting off the transaction that comes into the office. And then how much of that total do you keep? So that way you can figure out that number. Then your commission income per transaction. How much is your average commission per transaction? That's what you're looking for. You're looking for that average number. And then the number of transactions you need to equal the amount of your business financial goal you set. So those are the numbers I feel like if you know those, you can come up with the financial projections going into the year, how much you got to sell, how many transactions you've got to have, and then also the average home that you need to be targeting, because that's what's selling in your market.
And Adam, you can generate these figures one of two ways, right? You can actually set your goals based on the number of transactions that you want to have if you're trying to reach a certain goal or master's level award. And then you can take this information and plug that in to determine what you would make if you hit that goal. So you can come at this from either angle. So you can kind of work backwards, so if maybe you don't have all these exact numbers, you can, focus on a number of sides that you want to get. And once you have that number of sides, you can take this information you were talking about, like your average commission, average listed price, and all of these things. And you can determine then, if I do reach this goal of this number of transactions, this will be my approximate income.
There, perfect point. It's exactly right. You don't have to know. You can go by transaction total. You can go by amount total. I mean, a lot of our agents track how many transactions they've had, because there's certain awards they're trying to hit. A lot of them want to go to the top agent retreat, right? The all-inclusive resorts and, the wine and dining trips. So they operate their business from that side of the spectrum. And then they calculate backwards from there, how much money is that and so forth. That's a great point, Jane. Very good point. So anyway, so that's kind of a quick little just recap of how to kind of make, 2021 a good year. Just some information for you guys to ponder. Get with a broker, your coach, whoever it is you have in your office, and have them help you guys set these goals. I mean, it's have them in front of you. Do some time management and follow through with these numbers. That's how you're going to grow your business. Just like you are a business owner, you've got to have some of these things in line to know where you're going, right?
Yes. And we've kind of set a goal, you and I, to kind of focus on this a little bit more this year. We've always encouraged agents to, set their goals. But this year we want to dive in a little bit deeper and kind of give them tools, give them ideas, help them figure out how is it I'm going to reach those goals. And one of the ways we talked about doing that, and you all can think about this for yourselves with your goals, is to pick break it down into smaller time frames. For me to say I'm going to accomplish X within the next 12 months, you kind of feel like that's kind of far away, and you maybe have extra time to do that. And it's hard to say, what do I do right now to make sure I reach that goal? So we are in additional trainings and things going to cover that. And the one way we think about doing that is we're going to pick a topic for a month. And, with that topic, we're going to, dive into that a little bit and how that will affect your goals and give you more examples. So I look forward to doing that. I think that'll be a fun
it's going to be
thing.
fun. Yeah, I love that kind of planning. And I encourage you guys to read The 12-Week Year by Brian Moran. It talks about kind of what Jane was just talking about, breaking your year up into smaller segments. So instead of saying, I'm going to do a whole year goal setting, do just 3 months. I mean, that makes it a whole lot easier for that other SMART goal attainability, right? You want to be able to hit it. And so if you haven't read that book, I encourage you to read it. That kind of goes along with what Jane was saying there. So great advice, Jane.
It's not so intimidating. You can break that down by quarters or months or even weeks. You can decide this week, this is the one thing I'm going to focus on this week to help grow my business and accomplish that thing. I think it kind of Donna talked about it a little bit. Don't be overwhelmed. When you set these goals and you think, oh my goodness, I have all these things to do. And to make these goals happen, I've got to work on 17 different categories. Don't psych yourself out. Pick one little thing, work on it, master it, add it to your agenda of what you do each time and grow that from there.
That's great. I mean, that is absolutely good. Yep. Good advice. Well, let's do this. I mean, we're over our hour time, so that's great. We've had a great show, but it is the Christmas week, right? We're heading into Christmas, so we thought we're not going to have our show next Friday or the Friday after, just because we want to observe the holidays. So Christmas and New Year's Day, we will not be having our show. We will be back on the 8th. We got a special guest coming on, Jonathan Knight. He is one of the top selling agents in West Virginia. He's going to come on and he's going to be talking about his system and how he operates and what he does. The following week, we'll have Mark Given on, which is a #1 bookseller on Amazon. He is part of the Trust-Based Philosophy book series that he has written. And so he's well known in a lot of association circles and brokerages and stuff. So he's going to be coming on. We're going to be doing an interview with him. So that'll be an awesome show. But to fire up and just have a little bit of fun today before we end the show, for those that want to participate, please stay on here. And in the comments, we're going to play Would You Rather Christmas Edition. So for those that want to, and I'm going to bring Donna back in.
Yeah.
Donna, are you want to participate with us on this?
I would love to. Yes.
Hey, Donna. Welcome back. So I'm gonna set the mood. There we go. We got a little Christmas music. Hopefully you guys can hear that.
Yep.
All right, so let's do a little bit of Would You Rather Christmas Edition. So let's see what we've got here. We'll start with, all right. Would you rather have to loudly sing the chorus of Jingle Bells every time you walk into a room for a week, or have to wear a Santa suit to school every day for a week?
What do you think, Donna?
What do you think, Donna?
I am definitely wearing the Santa suit because everyone in here would leave if I started to sing.
That's what I was. That's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah, I was hoping someone was going to say Jingle Bells and that we'd have him sing. Tanya Foster
about
said
you?
Jingle
No,
Bells.
I would be dazzled. Yeah, I would be dazzled the Santa suit though. Yes.
It'd be bejeweled, right? What about you, Adam?
Bedazzled
Answer
Santa
this
suit.
too.
That is awesome. So it looks like Tanya, Natalie, she says, obviously singing loud for all to hear. All right, Natalie, you know what? We're going to bring you on the show, and you're going to have to sing us a song one of these days.
That would be fun.
Deb Rocky said sing. Oh, that's awesome. All right, let's do another one. Let's see. Would you rather have Frosty the Snowman for a friend or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer for a friend?
Oh, this one's easy for me. Rudolph can fly. I mean,
True.
who doesn't want to fly?
But here's another alternative perspective, though. Sometimes friends just annoy you, and you just wish they could go away, right? Sometimes you just have those friends just like, oh gosh, they're a friend, but get away. Frosty the Snowman's going to melt. Like you're only going to have him for a season.
Oh, that would hurt my heart.
He comes back though, right? You just got to keep the top hat.
Now, my father's name is Frosty, so I definitely have to go with Frosty the Snowman.
Oh yeah, that's already decided for you.
And he doesn't melt.
Let's see. Natalie said Rudolph.
Aw.
Deb said Rudolph. Tanya, Rudolph.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frosty's short term.
Yeah, he's a short-term relationship. Not as big of a commitment. We'll do a couple more before we wrap up. Here we go. Let's see. All right. Would you rather have Christmas tree tinsel for hair or have fingernails that light up like Christmas lights? Yeah.
What do you
I
think,
know what I'd
Donna?
say.
Oh, I'm taking both. I want both of them.
She's all in.
What about you, Adam?
Oh, I'm going tinsel hair. I mean, I feel like that could be kind of cool. I don't want my nails doing anything funky.
Oh, I would love the nails doing. You all that know me well, I'm so happy with nails.
That's true, yeah.
It's been so hard during this pandemic to not, have that be something that we do all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally want the light up nails. But Donna,
Light up
I think
nails.
you would be gorgeous with both. I really do. I
I
want to
say
know
do
what
it, Donna.
color tinsel you want.
Oh, I'd definitely go with gold.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Gold. That's good.
Yeah, Tanya says fingernails. Yep. Deb says
Nails.
nails too.
Natalie.
Aw.
Neither.
Oh, I think you had to pick one.
Tanya is going to go right in there with you, Donna.
Yep.
Yeah. We want pictures of that when you all decide to do that.
Tanya, good point, Tanya. Imagine the conversation that would ensue and lead to real estate.
Make sure you have your Century 21 shirts on when you do
Yeah,
that.
name badges, car wrapped, all that good stuff. All right, one more and we'll wrap up. Let's see here. All right, would you rather be at home on Christmas and get lots of presents or go to Disneyland for Christmas but not get any presents? Okay, I had to add that in real quick before we even answer that one. If you don't know my dad, he's like completely bald. So,
Any hair would be great.
yeah, he'd be okay with just having hair. That's great.
So, Adam, what about you in the Disneyland one?
I would
Home
probably
or
do the
Disneyland?
presents thing, just because I'm not a Disneyland fan.
Oh, your kids would strangle you for that answer, I think.
Probably so. Will's, listening, so.
Is he giving you looks? Like, what do you mean we're not going to Disneyland?
Yes.
I knew it. What do you think, Donna?
Oh, I'll definitely do the Disneyland. I love to travel. Another reason, Century 21 actually offers that top agent every single year a goal for you to strive for. And, you know, Steve does the reimbursements as just one of the perks that he gives us. So, yeah, Disneyland traveling.
Disneyland and traveling, yeah. I mean, I like the aspect of the traveling part. And I would forego, it's not so much about the presents. I like being home. You know, you could, you know, the presents, I mean, that's a perk, but yeah.
We've been home a lot lately.
We have been home. That's true. That's previous question there. Deb Rocky says home. Tanya says be home, presents or not. I love family time. Yep. Natalie, I love Disney, but I am all about being home and cozy, presents or not.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, awesome. Well, that's it for this show, and I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you to everyone that tuned in. It has absolutely been a pleasure. We have been enjoying this. We will see you back January 8th at 10:30 a.m. on our Facebook page as well as our YouTube channel. So, again, thank you all for coming. And Donna, thank you. Jane, thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays, everyone.
You guys have a wonderful time. Take care. Bye.
Bye.